So it's interesting when we talk about mindfulness, we often are speaking and using language around thoughts, around the mind. I really like the language of thought technology, thinking about my thinking. And then this interesting question, what role does the body play in this? And that's so important. We often maybe differentiate our mind and our bodies. A little bit, I would say there's a bit of a fallacy in there, just like we say work and personal. That can be a useful maybe conceptualization, and yet we are ourselves wherever we go. So if we go like, oh, I'm in a lecture, I should, be perfectly paying attention, and yet we're having a really challenging week. We can't actually separate that from how we're listening to a lecture. And just like that, in the practice of mindfulness, and if we look at a lot of the traditions that feed into this thought technology, there's a lot of emphasis on the connection between mind and body, that they really are not separate. And actually, I like to nerd out a little on the etymology of things and go back, and if you read some of the discourses that have been passed down to us from many, many thousands of years of human thought on this, there's a discourse called the Four Establishments of Mindfulness. And in it, it talks about a kind of systematic approach to establishing this thing called mindfulness. And the first of the four establishments is awareness of the body. And so really we have this recognition that it starts there. And from a kind of modern neuroscientific perspective, when we start to think about, kind of where do our thoughts come from? What is the linkage in our mind between our amygdala and how we're able to respond? There's really direct and interesting connections. So on both sides of things, as we're exploring, perhaps we have an intention to take care of ourselves. When we look at both the wisdom traditions of mindfulness and at what the neuroscience, what from a kind of biological perspective we know about how our body takes in stimulus and how that impacts our brain, and then how that impacts our ability to focus, to pay attention, to access our executive functions, we know that the body and mind really are very directly connected. Yeah, it's interesting when we start to think, what is the connection between my mind and body? Why should I take care of my body or even my mind? I always sometimes propose that as students, as researchers, as faculty, the commodity we trade on is our knowledge, is our intellect. And so we want to keep the instrument that we use for this very well maintained. So just like if you're a scientist using a microscope or an fMRI machine, you make sure that machine is well maintained in order to carry out the work you're doing. And so I think in the space of academia, the instrument is our mind. We want to take very good care of it, and that mind exists in a body. And so these are two things that we really want to take good care of in order to do our work well, in order to maintain the instruments of our work. And so there's this interesting, piece. Again, I remember being a graduate student and there just not being time in my mind to take care of these things. And yet, if we look at the evidence base, we can see that without maintaining the instruments, I will be much less effective at engaging with my work. And so I think the practice of mindfulness, how to relate to our bodies, how to relate to our thoughts in a way that is healthy, that allows us to flourish and thrive in the spaces we're in, is such a worthwhile thing to consider.